Today we're gonna make a rotisserie chicken, and we're gonna take that rotisserie chicken meat and we're gonna make 3 awesome recipes with it. I'm gonna show you how to set up your rotisserie, how to do everything. I'll tell you the product I'm using, but there's a lot of other products you can use. And if you don't wanna go through the process of making the rotisserie chicken yourself, you can make all these recipes with store-bought rotisserie chicken. All right, let's prep the chicken right now. All right, so I'm using a 4-pound chicken here. Just a young chicken, 4 pounds will be perfect. So you could do larger if you want. And I just seasoned it overnight. So what I would say is if you can do it overnight, it's gonna be better. Salt, at a minimum, salt it. But I just make a simple rub for this, and all it had in it was 1.25% salt to the weight ratio. So we have roughly almost a 2,000 gram chicken here. So to make it really simple, 1% of that is going to be 20 grams or 2 tablespoons of diamond crystal salt. And then 1.25% of that would be 25 grams or 2.5 tablespoons. I probably didn't use it all because I made a little bit more of it and I have it right here. All I do is I take an empty spice container, you can just write on it that it's your barbecue rub, and you can make it enough for the whole entire season if you want. All I do is just shake it on top. So I'll just shake a little bit more right now, but it just has that salt at that ratio. It has 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. It's very simple, but you can do whatever you want here. You can make it much more complex, spices, anything you want. You know what I'll do? Actually, I'll shake it on after we tie it up. Let's tie it up first. But you have to tie it up when you're doing it on the rotisserie, especially if you go over the 165, you might lose a leg or a wing or whatever. And it'll just make more even cooking too if you tie it up. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I have a good amount of string here, probably about 48 inches. Just take more than you need. And then we're just going to kind of push these wing tips inside here. And then, a lot of chickens will have the neck like more sticking out, but they took it off here. So I'm just gonna kind of come from the bottom. And then, so we're kind of like this right now, my 2 sides. And then just go to like that shield point of the breast. And you can just do 1 tie here, like that. And then you'll be able to just tighten this like this. If it looks like the wing's not in enough, just move your string down a little bit. And by doing that 1 tie, it will stay pretty tight, even if you let go. All right, so just around the legs. Okay, and then just go underneath it and tie these 2 together. You can just do a double twist like this. And that'll stay very tight without you doing anything. And then you can just do a final knot. All right. All right, so the chicken is together right now. Everything should stay together. I'm going to show you the attachments for this rotisserie chicken. It's very easy. I'm going to show you inside here, and then we're going to go out to the charcoal grill. I'm going to prepare the charcoal grill. Okay, so this is the only fire attachment for the Weber 22-inch kettle grill, which is pretty much the standard grill that if you do charcoal that people use. They're very inexpensive. They have Weber ones that are only a couple $100s. Then they have a little bit more expensive ones that have tables built in. But this is a universal, and it's not the Weber brand, so it's about half the price. This is why I went out and bought this one. A lot of people in the Peruvian chicken video told me, they're like, check out that only fire. At that point, I already ordered it. I've already used it like 3 times, and it's awesome. It works so easily. You'll see when we go outside, but I just wanted to show you all the parts here. So you have this thing. This just drops on top of the kettle. You have this with a counterbalance, this counterbalance here. You just attach everything permanently. It's there, it's good to go. And then you have these things, these prongs that will hold your chicken. Now, I like to do 2 chickens. I think you could probably squeeze 3 chickens on here, but I would say 2 chickens is very easy, and that's how I've done it both times. Today, we're just gonna do 1 chicken. I already did 2 chickens the other day that I have the broken down meat in the fridge. It's as simple as this, though. The only thing I would tell you is if you're going to do 2 chickens, I would just measure the length of the 2 chickens before you put your prongs on, just so everything is then centered when you go on the grill. It's as simple as that. And then how does it turn? It comes with a motor, okay? This motor has a very long plug. You just plug it in, and then it's just the easiest thing in the world. I mean, honestly, I can't believe I took so long to get this because it's just such another layer of what you can do on the grill. All right, so let's get the chicken ready. We want to get everything ready before we go out there and we light our coal. right, so I'm just gonna take one of these clamps and put it right through the rod. You don't even have to tighten it right at this point, just push it all the way over to the side. Then take your chicken, and then all you gotta do is just go right through the middle of the chicken. And you can go underneath those legs or you can go above it, but I'll just set it up like this. Prong, I'm gonna situate right here like this and just make sure you get like a lot of meat contact here, because and I didn't really get that much, so I'm gonna turn it a little bit like this. What this is gonna do is prevent the chicken from turning. So now I'm just gonna center this exactly because I'm only doing one chicken. So right there is about the center. Then I'm just gonna lock this clamp down on here. So that's just gonna lock it so it doesn't move. Okay, so that chicken, that's in. And just take the other one. Same thing, just try to get it nice and on there. Okay, see, so it's just gonna turn like this. And I just tighten it really good. You know, you can use pliers if you want to. I might not have centered that completely. My center's gonna be, it's 24 inches total here, so my center's gonna be 12. Yeah, I gotta move it a little bit. Oh, I'll just move it. So just go like this, just loosen it, and now just slide it over. That's what I should have done initially. All right, that's good and tight, ready to go. And what you could do now is just put a little bit more of that extra seasoning on if you want. You could also just do it when you get it spinning initially on the grill. All right, so we're out here at the grill. This is the grill that I use all the time. If you have watched me on Instagram, I do hundreds of grilling videos I've done over the last like almost 8 years. Majority of the reason why we don't come out here is because of leaf blowers, landscapers, and just general noise, but I think we got it good today. I want to show you everything I have here. So this is a 22-inch Weber grill. All we're going to do is put that attachment that we have right there on top of here. But the first thing we need to do is light this coal. This is a large chimney, Weber chimney. This is going to be enough most of the time to do the whole rotisserie. What I like to do, and I'll show you in a second, is I keep a little bit extra coal over here. And then this coal I put kind of around the edges so it'll light as it's cooking. All you're gonna do here is we're gonna put this pan in the center and we're gonna put a little bit of water in there. That's gonna prevent the rotisserie from getting really, really brown. If you do want it brown, you're gonna probably want your coals more in the center. I like to keep them around the side. You're gonna see everything in a second. The way I like coal always, I just use these little starters. You could buy a box of like 50 or 100 of them on Amazon, very cheap. I'm using Kingsford. This is some extra lump charcoal that I have left in here. I have a bunch of bags of lump over there. I love lump and I'm just gonna light this now. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right on top of there. Now I love lump charcoal for it's higher heat. You can really get a really beautiful sear on steak. It burns out quicker. So the Kingsford is gonna be more uniform. It's better for doing a rotisserie. This is gonna take about 15 minutes or so. I'm gonna get it to basically leave the top black, but right below we want to start graying out. Very, very easy to do this. You don't even need your grill top for this today because we're just putting the other thing on and we're putting the rotisserie on and letting it go. This is so easy, and you're gonna see how easy this is. And I'm just doing a chicken today, but you could do any type of meat you want. All right, we'll be back when this is lit. All right, so the coal is not ready to go yet. So here is the chicken. I didn't go over the probing, so I have this little tool right here. So this is Thermal Maven. It's a wireless one. It's the cheapest one I could find on Amazon. It was about $40. I'll link it. If you don't want to use one of these, you're just gonna have to stop every so often you'll stop your rotisserie and just use an instant read thermometer, okay? But I think this one's great. They make more expensive ones that hook up to your cell phone and stuff like that. So all you do is you pull the probe out, turn this thing on, and this just shows you the temp. Now it has a target temp at 140. I'll set it there. I think that's a good warning sign for you. Say you're doing something else and you forgot about your rotisserie chicken. You could run out when it gets to that point. You could also just set it right to where you want it at 160. So all I'm gonna do now is take this probe and stick it into the breast. Okay, just like the thick part of the breast. Okay, so now when I do that, it's gonna read here 47 degrees, 46, because the chicken's cold. I took it out of the fridge about an hour ago, and that's pretty much what's gonna happen. Your fridge is 40, take it out, it might be 44 to like 47, which is totally fine. Just wanna make sure that that is reading correctly. Again, for double insurance, even if you use one of those, every so often, maybe towards the end, just come back and double check with this. All right, still waiting for that coal. Okay, so it's starting to gray out a little bit below that last black line. You can put it in right now. And I'll put some here and some there, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna distribute it a little bit. Take some of the gray ones over here and some of the black ones over there. Now I'm gonna move it to two separate sides. You can use the little baskets that come with your grill. I rarely ever use them because I'm lazy. Just wanna make enough room that my pan will fit in here. Just like that. Some water in here, okay? Just a cup or two. That's fine. And now I have like about 20 more charcoal. So I'm just gonna put some around the sides, and this will get lit. As long as you're touching one of each side, it'll light a little bit as you're doing it. Okay, so whichever side your outlet is, just put it on that side, and this goes on top like so. Now we're just gonna put our chicken on. Here's our switch, and it just locks right into here. Just slides on. And then it just goes right in there. And that's it. And now, once you turn it on, your rotisserie is now spinning. Now I'm just gonna find my cover. It's really as simple as that. So now I'm gonna show you over here. I'm leaving the damper on top completely open. Okay, this damper is open. And my damper on the bottom is completely wide open. Okay, 4 or 5, that's open all the way. If you turn this way, you're gonna close your damper. So now, why would you have to close the damper to lower the amount of oxygen? Say your target temp here, you want to be 350 to 400 degrees. After about 10, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, it's gonna come up there. It might initially go to 450, but you really wanna be at that 350 to 400 degrees for the whole time. That's gonna allow you to do your rotisserie chicken in roughly 60, I would say 70 to 85 minutes, okay, depending on the size. Now, if you're a lot lower than that temperature, there's nothing wrong with that. You're kind of just almost smoking a bird now. Okay, it might take 3 hours then, 4 hours. And if you're gonna do that, you might as well get some soaked oak or some soaked cherry wood, apple wood chips and put it around there because essentially you are smoking a chicken. It's really forgiving though, because the only thing that can happen here is if you just have constant temperatures above that 450, chicken's gonna burn. If that happens, close your damper and it will lower the heat of your grill. It doesn't adjust quickly like a gas grill does. You'll have to wait about 5 minutes for that temperature to come back in line. And you can see right now, I'm at 400 here. I'm at 400 initially here. So what I can do is I can just lower this damper a little bit, okay? So I have a lot of coal in there. I can lower it a little bit, so I'm closing it to about halfway. And then I can check back in about 3 to 5 minutes and see if I'm hitting my target temperature again. It's really easy. Okay, we're gonna check on this bird in about 30 minutes to show you how it looks. All right, so I wanted to show you at 20 minutes. My temperature on the grill is exactly at 400 degrees. Now, it took a little bit to get it here. I have the bottom damper. I probably used a little too much coal, especially, and you're gonna be able to regulate this though yourself. I wanted to show you like the real world example of it. All I had to do when I was running at about 450, which is nothing wrong with that. It's gonna give you a little bit crispier skin, but you don't want it to cook at 450 the whole time. So I closed that damper to literally just a tiny bit. I didn't want to kill all the oxygen there. And then also on top here, I have the damper about a quarter open. Okay, and that allowed me to keep it basically at regulating that exact 400 degree temperature. I'll show you how it looks. It's about 22 minutes right now. And it looks beautiful, like skin, everything glistening. But if it was to stay at 450 the whole time, the skin would be very crispy. Maybe you like it that way. It'll be a faster, much faster cooking chicken, but I prefer to let it go a little bit slower from that like 350 to 400 range, which I think keeps it a little bit juicier. That's it. So just control your damper, trust this temperature gauge up here, and then you're gonna be totally fine. So right now the chicken is showing 85 degrees internal after about 22, 23 minutes. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes now. Show you how that looks. It looks absolutely beautiful. One thing to keep in mind, and I didn't keep it in mind when I installed this initially, there's screws right here on the side. These can be adjusted up and down. So this is a little out of level. So make sure you just screw it in at the proper, put a level on it. But other than that, I mean, it's very easy to set up. I want to show you this. This is so cool. So I just took the cover off so it's going to be lower. This shows you right here. So I didn't place my probe entirely correctly. I'm reading about 138 with my instant read. So I'm going to let this go till probably 165 to 168, or I'll just check again with this. But it shows you the ambient temperature inside, and it's super accurate. So right now, the cover, it's going to start trying to come up again. It's at 316. If you look over here, okay, it's the same temperature on here. So these gauges are in line. So that's really cool. I didn't even, because I just bought it, I didn't even realize that it had that. But that makes it easier too to understand what your oven temperature is. So either one though is going to work great for you. I'd say this is going to take another 15 minutes, maybe 20. All right, so I just turned it off. We're going to check the temp now. So this is reading 162.5 right now, but I checked earlier with this one and I got a little bit less. Yeah, so if you can see here, so I'm at 159.4. Try to angle it a little bit more. Pretty much done. I'll check the other breast too. Try to go into the fattest part of it. Very close to done. And it looks perfect. Now you can let it go longer. With a rotisserie, it's very hard to dry these things out, especially by brining it overnight, salting it overnight. You can even do a wet brine if you want. It's going to be juicy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this off. I don't know if I brought this up. So the bottom here, this just had about a cup of water, and there's a lot of the chicken drippings now that are in the pan. What I like to do, you can do this very easily, is add potatoes in there. I would just start with a half a cup of chicken stock, maybe a little garlic, a little lemon juice, and then all the chicken juice is going to go on top of it. So basically you get your whole chicken done and your potatoes done at the same time. It's very easy to do. All right, just make sure you're using heat-proof like grill gloves to pull this off, because this thing is going to be very hot. Just going to leave it here, bring it inside. We'll give it a few minutes before we take everything off. And with a rotisserie chicken like this, when you get it in a store, they always put it in a plastic container, like from Costco, or a bag. And basically what that does is it ensures that the chicken skin will be very soft and not crisp anymore. If you do it yourself like this and you want to eat it whole, you will have relatively crispy skin. But that's really going to be a function of like how hot you cooked it initially. You can also, if you start low heat, you can also open your dampers all the way and crisp everything up at the end. But since today we're using the rotisserie chicken for 3 more dishes, we're not going to need the skin anyway, which is a shame because it looks so beautiful. By the way, if it looks really hot here today, it's not. It's only 42 degrees right now. I'm filming this in, but it's nice and sunny. Nice and sunny 42. It's April 20th when we're filming this. All right, we are back inside now with our rotisserie chicken. I probably have had it off for only maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Pull the probe out. You can wash this, just like clean it fairly easily. I normally just wipe them down well, because like if you don't put it in your dishwasher, that can mess up the probe. And then this is going to be relatively hot still. So when I touch this, it's pretty hot. You might have to put gloves on, but we're just going to loosen these clamps. We could pull this one off. And by the way, these can just go in your dishwasher, the whole entire thing, which is great. We'll just wipe it off first. Okay, and you can see all the nice juices flowing out of that right now when I pull that out.
I know you're gonna make some recipes with the chicken, but I
know you want to just eat this, right?
Envisioning myself like walking up to that thing and just
I know
face planting. And
look, the reason I did this video like this is because I know a lot of you, a ton of you. You might not even have a charcoal grill. They do make the attachment for your gas grill as well. I just know a lot of you are not going to go do that, and that's fine. And I mean, you might not have a grill set up. I just wanted to show, though, how to do this. And to be quite honest, definitely do 2 chickens at the same time, because these things are awesome for during the week. And the 3 recipes we're going to show you next is exactly what you can make during the week fairly quickly. I'm showing you 3. There are hundreds of recipes that you can make with rotisserie chicken. I mean, we already did a video for 3 rotisserie chicken recipes, right? Mm-hmm. That was a while back.
Yeah, it was over a year ago.
Yeah, now when we bought the rotisseries from the store, even though it wasn't warm today, it is getting towards that time of year where people are grilling more. And if you like grilling recipes like this, rotisserie recipes, if you want me to do more things outside, I definitely will. Nothing stops me from making a quick and dirty Instagram story with my cell phone. It's just, I try to make these YouTube videos a little bit better production. And, you know, when you're dealing with landscapers, with leaf blowers and uncontrollable things outside, it definitely makes it harder to do the filming outside. It just does. All right, so I'm just gonna remove the legs quickly. I feel like I could save the legs and the wings now just because I don't need all this meat. Because I already have the other two chickens that I broke down. You know what, I'll just take off.
I'll gladly take one of those legs.
I know, I just want to like dig in and like eat.
Yep.
There's not much meat on the wing especially, so these I'm just gonna like eat this right now because it's so good. A little hot for me to break this down yet, so I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. I can't resist. Off camera, I just pulled off the thighs and I'm just tasting it. Like the skin is just, you know, again, it's that like kind of that soft-ish rotisserie, but
what do you rate it?
10 out of 10. I do. 10 out of 10. So that's that. I'll take the breast off in a second. Here's the meat, like from the thigh area. Another thigh. Okay. Just absolutely. Just incredible. Tara, you want a little piece?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I'm just giving you a little bit of thigh, all right? Tell me that's not the best.
Oh my God.
Tell me that doesn't destroy any other like rotisserie chickens you buy in the store.
Yeah.
And that's just with salt, pepper. Oh, and paprika was in my rub too. I don't know if I mentioned it initially, but that doesn't really give flavor. It just gives more nice color to it.
I could eat the whole chicken myself right now.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to wash up and get some gloves on. All right. So I'm just pulling the back portion off. There's still meat on there. You can grab it, get it all. It really depends how much work you want to do. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty much an expert at breaking down a supermarket rotisserie chicken, and I have never gotten more than 1.25 pounds of chicken from one. So they probably use fairly small chickens. You could save all the bone pieces too, and you know, just put them in a bag, freezer, use it for stock. The thing about a rotisserie chicken, it's just the chicken is so moist. It's really hard to overcook it. Like you could probably cook it to 180 on that probe, and it's probably not going to do anything, especially if it's brined. I don't think it's going to do any harm really. All right, so I'm just pulling that skin off. Unfortunately, we don't need it for today's recipes. You could save it, eat it if you want. Okay, and then here's the breast. Breast meat, very juicy still. Extremely juicy. And I'm just going to break it down, shred it into some pieces into this bowl I have over here. Oh, it's still so hot. You know, let me just get it off the bone and then I'll work on that last. Anyway, I'm going to take all the chicken out of here. I'll tell you how much I have. I'll weigh it. I'll show you the ingredients for the first recipe. All right, so I got on here about 700 grams of chicken. Okay, so 1.5 pounds, a little bit more than 1.5 pounds, but I didn't even break down the legs or the wings. So, well, a little bit of the wing I did, the drum part. This is more than I can normally get from a supermarket one. Costco ones are big though. Those ones are tremendous. They're gigantic. Those birds they use, I mean, I don't even know. I heard they lose money on every single rotisserie chicken they sell, which would make sense considering they charge like $7 or $8 for them. When you go to the supermarket and for a Bell & Evans chicken, it's like 20 bucks, not even cooked.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? It's actually crazy. Okay, for the first one, we're gonna make a barbecue chicken pasta salad. This one is great for summer, which is gonna be the time you make a rotisserie chicken, but this can be enjoyed all year round. So I have roughly 1.25 pounds of rotisserie chicken meat. Recipe, I wrote 1.5 pounds, but you don't have to do that. You'll see like I have a 1/2 pound of rotini pasta. So that's basically the proportions is like 1 to 1.5, but you can go a little bit more or less, especially if you want it to be more heavy on the pasta side. Just use more pasta. I have my homemade barbecue sauce here. Okay, this one I've made in a few different videos. The most recent video that I made a barbecue sauce in, that was oven-baked barbecue chicken thighs, and I also made it in oven-baked barbecue ribs. I will list all the ingredients for this barbecue sauce, but if you don't want to go through that process, just use any homemade barbecue sauce you like for it. We're gonna make essentially a brine mixture again, which I do for a lot of my deli style salads. And for that brine, we're gonna use a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. I'm just using white pepper so you don't see the black pepper specks in the pasta salad, but just use black pepper if you want. 1/2 teaspoon, that's just fine sea salt. 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of neutral oil, and 3 tablespoons of distilled white vinegar. Now we're gonna mix all that together, and then we're gonna get our other ingredients in there. It's better if you let it go overnight so it really thoroughly marinate, penetrates flavors. This is just how delis do all these type of salads. If you want to do it right away, you can too, and that's what I'm going to do today. I have 1 cup of corn. This was just frozen corn that I defrosted. I have 1 red bell pepper that I diced. 5 green onions. I think I used a pack. It was like 8 of them. I just used them all. It's nice in here. It gives a lot of nice green color to it. 1/2 cup, it's probably a little bit more, of red onion that's diced. And then 3/4 cup of mayonnaise. I'm using deli heavy mayo, but regular mayo is fine too. I always like the heavy mayo in all these deli salads. But this one comes together super quickly. Get your water to boil and cook your pasta till it's done. Okay, basically, I would say al dente, and we're gonna run it under cold water to stop that cooking process. Okay, for the brine, 3 tablespoons white vinegar. That's the vinegar. 2 tablespoons of water. 2 tablespoons neutral oil, 1/4 cup sugar, 1/4 teaspoon white pepper, 1/2 teaspoon fine sea salt. Okay, just combine it, whisk it. All right, we're just gonna wait for the pasta. All right, so here is that 1/2 pound of rotini. I ran it under cold water to mostly cool it off.
The only time you would ever do that is when you're making pasta salad.
That's the only time, exactly. All right, so what I'm doing here is just mixing this in to that brine. Now the brine is gonna absorb into this pasta, especially if you put it overnight. What you would do overnight is you would do your pasta, your brine, the red onion, the red bell pepper, the corn, and the rotisserie chicken. Okay, I'm gonna use a spoon, but it's easier just to get in there with your hands, you know, put on some bro gloves and start tossing. You wanna get everything coated with this brine. When delis make all these salads, they always do it this way, and they always keep them in the big tubs. So everything lays flat with the brine. They put a ton of brine and they'll just drain it the next day. And then when they mix with mayo, it's basically that flavor that you're probably like, why do my pasta salads, my deli salads, not taste like a deli? And they use sugar in almost every salad. Okay, they just do. If you want to remove all the sugar from this, you can, but then I would just take the vinegar out as well, because then it won't be balanced. So again, at this point, you would cover it with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge overnight, maybe mix it halfway through, and then all that liquid will be taken up into the pasta and everything. Most of it's getting taken up right now. But because we have limited time today and I want to show you 3 recipes to make with this chicken, we'll just finish it up here. Okay, so the next day would be that green onion, 3/4 cup of mayo. I'm using deli mayo here, but regular mayo is fine. You know, Hellman's or Duke's. And with the barbecue sauce that I'm linking here for the recipe, go with a 1/2 cup roughly to start. And then if that's not enough barbecue sauce flavor for you, I would just add more. Now this, I have to break out a glove for this. Should have used a bigger bowl. But sometimes the best tool you have is your hand than using a spoon. All right, so all I'm gonna do here is cover this up for an hour while I work on the other recipes, make the other 2 dishes, so the taste tester will at least be able to experience this cold. All right, let's do the next one. All right, so we're gonna make another pasta dish. I kept the water boiling, just used the pasta spider. It's great, you know, if you're ever making a 3 rotisserie chicken video, you should do the same. Keep your water boiling so you don't have to reboil another one. Okay, it's still salted water. 1 pound of rotisserie chicken. We're using the hot rotisserie chicken that I just broke down. I have a 1/2 pound of bow tie pasta. Any pasta is fine for this. Like, I would use a short pasta like rigatoni, penne, something like that. It's fine, it's up to you. 3 like large handfuls of baby spinach here. It's probably about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 ounces worth. I have more baby spinach on the side, so if I need more, we'll just add it in. We're gonna finish up with parsley and 3/4 cup of grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. We're gonna saute garlic, 3 cloves of garlic sliced, and 1 large shallot that is diced. And we're gonna saute that in about 5 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna make our sauce from 3/4 cup of dry white wine, 1 cup of heavy cream, 1 cup of chicken stock. This is just chicken stock that I mixed up from Better Than Bouillon, reduced sodium chicken base. This one's gonna come together very quickly too. Don't start boiling your pasta yet though, I'll tell you when. I have this 4-quart or 5-quart Tefal Okay, and we're only doing a half pound of pasta, so we should be able to fit everything very easily, even with that pound of chicken. Okay, I'm gonna heat it up to about medium low. Okay, fairly low. Get the butter in, get that garlic in. That's three cloves. Went a little light on the garlic. And then that's 1 shallot that's diced. I'm gonna let these like cook fairly slow, kind of mellow out. So that's why you could do them both at the same time. I just wanted to get them close to golden. Definitely the garlic close to golden. All right, that's been about 3 minutes. Maybe let it go another 30 seconds. Let it get really fragrant. The garlic needs to get a little bit golden to really get the flavor out of it. The good flavor you want. You don't want the raw flavor. I think I might be a little off on my proportions here. I'm thinking that we can do easily with rotisserie chicken. I'm probably gonna lower that cream to a half a cup to start. And then if we need more, we'll add it in. I normally always approach everything from a pound of pasta perspective, but we're only doing a half a pound today. All right, that's looking good. 3/4 cup dry white wine. Turn the heat up. Okay, and that's 1 cup of the reduced sodium chicken stock. Don't worry if it clumped like it did for me there. It's all gonna dissolve and distribute. Okay, we're gonna let this cook. I wanna get this boiling, and I wanna let this liquid reduce by half once it boils. At this time, make sure the water's boiling. We're gonna add it in a sec. Once this reduces, we'll cook the pasta. All right, so it's boiling, starting to boil. How do you know what is half reduced by half? You don't wanna pour this all out, then pour it back out again to check. Just use a toothpick, okay? And then that'll tell you how high you are in the pan. We wanna go half of that, roughly. Don't worry if you don't get it, reduced by exactly half. It's okay. All right, at this time, cook the pasta to about 1 minute less than al dente. Okay, and that's reduced by about half. I'm gonna lower the heat now to about medium to a touch lower. I'm gonna add in a half a cup of cream to start. And I'm gonna add in the spinach.
So in the chicken Florentine recipe that we have,
Yes.
like just chicken Florentine, not pasta, you use frozen spinach and you use fresh.
I did. I mean, I was doing that for chicken, like big pieces of chicken seared.
Yeah.
You could use all fresh for it too. It's just, the way I did it was I wanted it to have like that chopped look with the sauce and everything, and then I wanted it to be over a bed of more like sauteed garlic spinach.
Yeah, that's right.
You can always interchange fresh and, frozen's just easier. You get an 8-ounce frozen block, it's like the equivalent of like 20 ounces of fresh baby spinach.
Yeah.
Because it's already a lot of the water's taken out of it and it's compressed into that block.
And this is good because it's like a complete meal because it's got the pasta in it.
Yeah, this is a great one, complete pasta meal. Normally chicken Florentine is not served this way, but I thought with the rotisserie chicken, it's great. But yeah, it's another pasta one. We have dozens of pasta recipes in our cookbook right there. I don't have a chicken Florentine pasta recipe, but I would say there's probably over 20 pasta recipes in the cookbook.
Yeah, there's a whole pasta chapter in the book.
A lot of them are the more popular ones. Maybe you've seen them on this channel. You could buy the book here. You could buy the book here if you want. And, just tell you, like the book has done way better than we ever thought it would have done. It's on its 3rd printing, and we're probably going to have to do a 4th printing. So every day, consistently, it's like number 1 or 2 in the Italian category on Amazon. And there's a lot of big names there, so we're happy with like the longevity it's had because we released it in November. So now we're talking, it's almost been 6 months. And, it's thanks to you. It's thanks to, I really believe the majority of the sales have come from you. People that tune into our YouTube videos every week, and we really thank you for it. We truly do. All right, so this says spinach is going to lose some of its water like this. This is kind of how I want it. I'm going to lower the heat even more while I'm waiting for the pasta, and I'm going to put in I love a lot of cracked black pepper in this. I think like any cream sauce like this can benefit from it. Florentine doesn't normally have nutmeg, but nutmeg wouldn't be bad in this either. With these flavors, just a pinch. I'll worry about the salt later, but we reduced that better than bouillon in half, and the chicken that I just roasted is well seasoned, so we might not need to add much salt. Don't worry about this, that looks loose to you. We're adding 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese in there, and we'll add some pasta water, and we'll get it to consistency we want. We can do it. We can always do it on this channel. It's not a problem. Cooking is never a problem. Cooking is very easy. It's a very easy thing to do. Okay.
By the way, Jim, if somebody didn't want to use wine in the recipe, would they just use more chicken stock?
Yeah, and also if you want the acidic component, and you don't want to use wine, you can use lemon juice. I would start with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and then just move up from there. And that would be nice too. But yeah, normally when you think chicken Florentine, it's 99% of the time is dry white wine.
Mm-hmm.
Dry white wine makes it into so many Italian recipes. It just does. More so than red wine. You know, red wine really I reserve just for like a hearty ragu, you know, like a braise, like a really long braise. But yeah, for the most part, you can always substitute. You can always use a white when a recipe calls for red. You can't do it the other way. You just can't, okay? Most of the time. Like, for example, you're making stuffed artichokes. There's white wine in the sauce. You put red in that, big no-no. That would be bad. That's a cardinal sin to mix red wine with artichokes. Like, you will pay, you know? But it's a whole host of other recipes. Think about it. Would you put dry red wine in your stuffed mushrooms? No, but white wine is an automatic. Would you put dry red wine in your clams oreganata? Heck no. But white wine, it's just natural. It just goes with it. And the more you cook, the more you're inherently going to know all this. You're going to know what goes. Okay? That's why, you know, eventually you're not going to need me. You're just going to do it all on your own. And that's always been the point of this channel from when we started about 7 years ago. Okay, so my pasta's almost there. I'm going to add the chicken in now. You could even wait, like if you have a warm chicken, you could wait right to the end because the longer you cook it in here, it's going to break up a lot, the pieces. That's why I tried to keep these pieces fairly large. You know, and I think we might even need that extra cream. We'll see. But we're just warming this through now. Okay, so I have my pasta that about 1 minute less than al dente, maybe a little bit more. Whether you do it with a spider like this or you drain it, if you do drain it, just save some of the pasta water. We're probably going to need it. So let's mix this through. Let's let this cook until it gets to finished. So I can tell already with my spinach. That's what I always think that you need so much more spinach than you normally have, than you start with. So I'm just going to add it in. And just keep adding it in until you get it right. It smells delicious right now. It might not look perfect to you, but it smells amazing. That white wine, cream, the garlic, butter, the shallots, all that, it's good. I'm going to turn the heat up. It still needs another minute or so, I think, before I add that cheese. Okay, this is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to get it off the heat. You can tell already I'm going to need more pepper from tasting that pasta a couple times. I'm going to mix in 3/4 cup of grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. So this is going to tighten up everything right now. It's going to like absorb any of that liquid. And because of that, it might make it too thick where we're going to have to then add some more pasta water. We want to get the consistency just right before we serve it. So I am making the next dish, so I'm probably going to have to judge this up a little bit before the taste tester tries it. And I probably would judge it up with more spinach too. The residual heat will still melt it. I'm putting in a bunch of that parsley. That's just going to green it up even more, freshen it up. And I'll just take a little bit of that pasta water, starchy pasta water. So right how this is right now, this is a good consistency for serving, but again, like depending on when your family comes to the table and everything, just save that pasta water and then you can add more if you need to. And I would probably add more spinach in here as well. Let me give one final taste test. See if we have this seasoning correct, salt and pepper, all that. Does need a little bit of salt. And I'm going to put even more pepper. I'm going to go to my easier distributable pepper. All right, and there you have it. Chicken Florentine pasta. That's recipe number 2. All right, so for the final one, we're going to do a blackened chicken sandwich. We're going to use rotisserie chicken. Normally, I would make this with a nice marinated chicken thigh or chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken thigh or chicken breast, and then use the blackened seasoning. These are really good to do on like Blackstone grill, a flat top, but we're going to do everything in the pan. So it's going to have the chicken, the blackened spice. We're going to put some barbecue sauce at the end and shishito peppers on top, which I love these type of peppers. If you never had them, they come like this. Normally they sell them in bags or loose, and we don't need too many for this, so I'll just make this many. And then we'll take the stems off before we put it on the sandwich. and then Munster cheese, which melts really easily. So the first thing we need to do is just cook these shishito peppers until they get blistering and are done. You can also do them in the oven, but it's simple just to do them in the pan because we'll use that same pan to make our sandwich.
These are really good as like an appetizer on their own with like a little dipping sauce.
I love them. They used to be more popular in restaurants, I think. You know, the thing with food trends in general is everything is super fast and everything, you know, goes in and out of style very quickly.
That's true.
I would hate nothing more to run a restaurant and have to deal with influencers, those people. I read an article today that restaurant owners were complaining. I think they were in the city saying like these influencers are coming in and demanding $3,000 to $5,000 from them to say that their restaurant is good. If I did own a restaurant, I would have a policy that no influencers were allowed to even dine in my restaurant. They wouldn't be allowed in. And honestly, I think the restaurants that do that, they're the ones that stand the test of time. You know, they've been around before influencers were a thing, and they'll be around when they're gone. Who the heck thinks that these influencers even know anything about food? You know, they're not judging the quality of the food. They're judging, you know, whether the place looks nice or something like that. So
I just want to go out to a restaurant. I want to enjoy the food. I don't want to see like people taking pictures of their food. And,
I know. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, I guess I'm like turning into an old curmudgeon like you.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually admirable. All right, I got to find a cover. I'll be right back. Oh, man. Cover it faster. Don't have your cover in your living room. It's not my living room. It's my other kitchen. Everything that I need gets somehow put into the other kitchen. All right, I have about medium heat. We're essentially steaming them with that little bit of water that I put in. It's going to allow them to sear quicker. The reason why it bursts is water and oil like to do that. Mm-hmm. All right, this is going to take a few minutes. I'm going to flip them in after a couple minutes. Okay, so you can lower the heat a little bit more when the water runs out. Some of the pans I have a little hole there that lets steam. If this one doesn't, you know, this thing might have a tendency to want to like jump up. All right, so I'm taking that lid off. Depending on how they were, you know, situated, some will be blistered like that. See, like, and then they shrink very quickly. And that's all you want to do. You want to get these to the point where they're fairly soft. So when the person's eating the sandwich, they're not trying to bite through a hard pepper. So I'm going to feel them all, make sure that they're soft enough. Not all of them are yet. So I'll just let them keep cooking over that medium to touch lower heat. And then we're just going to make a sandwich, which is the easiest sandwich ever. Okay, so I'm just turning off the heat. A couple of them aren't soft enough, but that's all right. I'll just eat those by myself. Just a little bit of salt on them. Now, these are delicious, like Tara was saying, just by themselves. You know, make a dipping sauce if you want, but you don't even need to. The cool thing about a shishito pepper is that only 1 out of 10 of them are spicy. So maybe the taste tester will get a real spicy bite, or most likely he won't.
It's like Russian roulette with peppers.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to take off the stems of the ones that I'm going to use for the sandwich. All right, I'm going to use the same pan. There's a little bit of oil residue left in there, which is fine. Going to turn it to about medium. Look, if your pan is dry, you put a little bit of oil or butter in it. But this, you know, brioche buns have a ton of butter in them already. And I'm just going to just put some color on the inside of it. I was like tempted to do, I don't know if you go to Five Guys, but I keep getting ads shown in Facebook. They do a patty melt now. And the way they do their patty melt is they use the bun just turned upside down. So basically, the side that I have on the bottom of my pan right now would be the top of your patty melt. Because of course, you know, Five Guys didn't want to bring in bread into the restaurant. Like that place,
smart.
It's very smart. They're genius on how they do things. They make what they make with just the amount of ingredients they have. And, you know, it's my favorite burger place. Perfect. I'm just going to put a little bit of barbecue sauce. Well, first I'll put my chicken down. So I want enough chicken, but not too much chicken for his sandwich. I'd say that is a good amount. Tara, you think that's enough, or you should put a little bit more?
No, that's plenty.
All right. Now, I already have the shishito, but the Blackened is going to make it a little bit more spicy. And I'm just sprinkling some of this Blackened Cajun's Choice spice. 2 pieces of Munster cheese, a little bit of water. Just a drop. And then what this is going to do is it's going to create steam, and our cheese is going to melt in seconds. In such a quick amount of time, I might not even be able to get my barbecue sauce. I like American Munster. It's very similar to American cheese. It melts very, very easily, which is good. Now, to make this easier, you can put the shishitos first. on the chicken, then put the cheese on top so the shishitos don't drop out. I'm gonna stick them on top just to make it look a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay, we'll get that chicken on there. Get some shishitos on there for him. Okay, I'm trying to press them into that cheese a little bit. There you have it. Very quick rotisserie sandwich with shishito peppers, barbecue sauce, Munster cheese, blackened chicken, and a brioche bun. We're gonna take this one and we're gonna take the other two and we're gonna see what he thinks of all three of them. He has not had any of these yet. Well, actually, he's had the the pasta salad, but he hasn't had the other two. So we'll see what he thinks. So James, what was your first impression right now? You just said?
This is like one of the worst pasta shapes.
Okay. All right. Which one do you want to try first?
I'm gonna save this for last because I know it's probably gonna be the best.
Okay.
I'll try this first because I already tried it.
Okay, James is doing the barbecue chicken pasta salad.
Usually stuff like this is better left over. This is better when you first make it.
All right, well, there you go. I didn't refrigerate it overnight. I do think it's better refrigerated overnight, but the taste tester disagrees. Okay, I don't want you to get stuffed, so maybe move on to the next one.
Oh, so this is like 3 chicken dishes at the same
Yes,
time.
James, I made a rotisserie chicken.
All right.
Okay, you're not going to give... That's actually good. You're not going to give the reviews till the end.
Yeah.
Right, that was a poker face there. James, now this has blackened chicken and shishito peppers. Okay. 1 out of 10 shishito peppers are really spicy.
I wonder I should attack the sandwich. I'll take this bite.
You have to be strategic.
I'll rank these first.
Okay.
These two are great. This one, not so much. Not a big fan. And I like pasta. It's not even really about the shape. It's just like, it's not that good. It's bland. Like, it's...
Tara, you just want to take a bite?
It's actually like one of the worst pastas.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
I vehemently disagree.
I mean, I actually can't really think of a worse pasta. And it's not even that it's like terrible.
No, I like it.
Everything else is so much better. Like,
I think that's the exact flavor of chicken Florentine.
Yeah.
With a pasta.
If the other
oh, yeah,
ones
so
are...
though, it's not bad. I don't know. It's just like, maybe if you use like fettuccine or like linguine. They're not that good.
Okay.
These are tied,
Okay.
by the way. This, honestly, this gets a 5 out of 10. It's just bland. It's not
Okay.
it's not that good. I would say these both get 10s.
All right.
I mean, all right, actually, here's the thing. This gets a 9. Actually, they're both 9s. They're both 9s. They're not 10s.
Well, which one's better? Just do that, even though they got the same score.
They're both good and they're different. You
Okay.
know? You can't really compare them. Like, this is a sandwich, that's a pasta salad.
Okay.
They're not even the same thing.
We appreciate the tough ratings.
Actually, okay, this one's probably better. Like, the shishito peppers, like, so good.
I'm linking the whole thing, apparatus for the rotisserie chicken if you want to go out and buy one yourself. I use the Only Fire. It's half the price of the Weber one. Everything I saw online said it was just as good. For me, it's been working great. The instant read thermometer, all that stuff. If you skipped just to these, I hope you enjoyed the, just the making of the recipes with rotisserie chicken, which is endless. You can make thousands of recipes with it. And we also appreciate the taste testers' honest ratings, which is wrong today, even though it's honest. Okay?
No.
It's very wrong, but very honest.
His,
So, I
his
have my
opinion can't be wrong.
Well,
An opinion can't be wrong.
I disagree with a lot of things you said.
Okay. That's wrong too. All right. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. We know this was a longer style video. If you like these videos, we'll make more of them. Until next time, thanks.
James, I want to try that sandwich. So don't eat it all.
Let her have a bite. You don't want to let her have a bite?
Is there more sandwiches?
No, but I can
You can
make
make
another
more.
one. I got more shishito peppers there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I got plenty of rotisserie chicken. I guess you're not going to eat dinner tonight with us.